It's Levack and Goz on 104.5 The Team.
Is it too late now?
Yeah. You hear that closer?
Man. Missing more than just your body.
That's some Justin Bieber. We're talking about is it too late to say you're sorry closer.
Disappointed.
We make sure we get that on, and joining us now, we don't know if he's a Justin Bieber fan or not, but we know he knows the stuff when it comes to the sports media business. It is Michael McCarthy from the Sporting News on the phone lines with us. And Michael, we're going to start with this. I'm watching the NFL over the weekend, and I see Derek Carr get injured. I know Matt Moore's the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, and Tom Savage just won a division title with the Houston Texans. We have half the AFC playoff with backup quarterbacks. Is this going to hurt the ratings for the NFL when it comes playoff time?
I think it will. The ratings have been struggling all season. As a matter of fact, the biggest sports media story of 2016 has been what is wrong with the NFL's ratings. And one of the things that people said in the beginning was there was a lack of star quarterbacks. Peyton Manning, the league's most popular player, retired. Brady on punishment detail. Romo injured. So now if you've got, young QBs who people wanted to see like Derek Carr out, I think it will hurt the ratings.
So we're not out of the woods yet. I remember we talked to you a few months ago. We thought maybe it was the election cycle that was taking the ratings away. Maybe it was some fans upset about the Colin Kaepernick situation. We have not seen a bump in ratings since that time?
Well, the ratings have certainly gone up quite a bit since the election. But the election was over. But since then, they haven't gotten back to 2015 levels. So although there's been quite a bump post-November 8th, there was still so much ground to make up that I still think the ratings are going to be down once you total things up for the season.
Michael McCarthy from the Sporting News joins us here on Levack and Goz on 104.5 The Team and 104.5theteam.com.
Michael, Brian Mariano filling in for Jeff Levack today. Now, the college football playoffs coming up this weekend, and there was a lot of talk last year because the games were on New Year's Eve, but they were later at night. Now they're at 3 and 7. What do you expect the numbers to be like for those games this year?
I think it's a great move. I think college football and ESPN took it a step too far, trying to create what was in effect a new national holiday last year. And they paid for it. The ratings tanked for the New Year's Eve night games. So I think we're going to see a big rebound having the earlier starts. I think it was a very smart move by ESPN and by the college football playoffs, and I'm all for it.
So now the college football playoffs being talked about more than anything this season. Now we have 40 bowl games during the bowl season. Is the college football playoff hurting all the rest of these bowl games?
They're turning the bowls into meaningless excursions. They really are. They've devalued the bowls. They've devalued the sponsorship to the bowls. They've devalued the TV propertyship of the bowls. I mean, the bowls have been completely devalued. And the clearest indication of that is star players won't even play in the bowls anymore. So, yeah, I think the college football playoff, and a lot of people predicted this would happen, has really hurt the bowl system.
Are we looking at an 18 playoff with this?
Well, I mean, it's going to get to that point. I mean, if nobody cares about the bowls and the Christian McCaffreys of the world aren't going to play in the bowls anymore, what's the point? I mean, you saw some of the attendance at some of these bowls the last couple of weeks. They're like if you get 10,000 people in the stadium. Some of the attendance records are a joke. So if it's only going to be about the college football playoff, why not make it 8 teams?
And some of those destinations, by the way, for these bowl games are really nice weather. We're looking out here in the window in Albany, and we're covered in snow. And people out in Miami, the Bahamas, wherever the case may be, they're still not able to grab the attendance they're hoping for. And joining us on the phone lines right now is Michael McCarthy from the Sporting News, talking sports business, sports ratings, and more with us now. And let's look forward to the year 2017. We've seen leagues like the NFL focus more on social media ways to get games out to the public, whether it's simulcasting games on Twitter or other things. Is that going to be the trend going forward? Are we going to be consuming professional sports products much differently in years to come?
I think there is some truth to that, but I think there's also, this is kind of like one of those predictions that soccer is going to be the next big thing in the year. I'll believe it when I see it. Twitter has had the rights to these Thursday night football games, and you know what? The numbers are anemic. It's not like there's this huge market of people who are dying to stream the game on their phone or dying to stream the game on their laptop. They still want to watch it on free TV. So, I mean, I think the way we watch games is going to change. I know because I deal with a lot of young people as a college professor, and the way they get their sports news, the way they watch their sporting events is totally different than the way I did. But again, I'll believe it when I see it that, Twitter or streaming media is the next new thing for the NFL.
Now let's talk about some personalities. We had Chris Berman on our station yesterday, and he may be the biggest fixture at ESPN, maybe in the company's history. And the question is, what will his role be with ESPN going forward in 2017? Do you have any indications of where we could be seeing Schwami going in 2017?
That is a great question. People forget, what a fixture Chris Berman is at ESPN. I mean, he is the face, he is the voice of ESPN. I think there's two ways this could go. I think Berman could stay with the network, and he could have some sort of honorary emeritus role, while some of his current duties, such as Sunday NFL Countdown, are taken over by younger talent. Two, I mean, Berman's actually younger than Bob Costas. It would blow your mind if you put it that way. But, I mean, Berman is still relatively a young man. He's in his early 60s. And I think it's very possible that he could try to parlay this change in his role into a job somewhere else. Now, where could that be? What if there's an Amazon or a Twitter or somebody who's one of these online companies that's making a big splash into NFL coverage? A guy like Berman would be a natural. So I think it's just as possible that he leaves ESPN and tries to seek another job elsewhere as he stays and takes on this emeritus role. And
it's intriguing to see if another network may reach out to him like Fox Sports. We know you have a relationship with Jamie Horowitz. You've covered some movement over there, and they're planning on a new show with the return of Chris Carter and a guy with an upstate New York tie, a former guest on this station, Nick Wright. What can we expect from that new show with Chris Carter and Nick Wright on FS1?
Well, I mean, the one thing we know about Jamie Horowitz is he loves to shake things up, right? Mm-hmm. He's made a lot of ex-ESPNers rich by bringing them over to FS1, and, he's really, ramped up competitive stakes. Could he go after a Berman? I think I could say he could go after anybody, especially if the contract is up. I mean, the thing about, guys like Horowitz and Skipper, they're kind of limited. They have to wait for that potential window of opportunity when their contract is expiring, or else a bit of tampering. But I think he could go after that. I think as far as the morning show, they're extremely high on Nick Wright. They think he's going to be their next big star, their next big talker. And what you're seeing this week with Nick Wright and Chris Carter taking over the herd while Colin Cowherd is on vacation is basically a live audition to see how they work on air, to see if there's chemistry. And if they do work, they would be the front runners for that national morning show.
He's one of the smartest when it comes to the radio sports business. When it comes to television sports, you want to find out all the things going on, you make sure to check out his work. Michael McCarthy for the Sporting News. I want to sit in on the class with you at Rutgers one time, Michael, just to soak in some of this knowledge you're giving to us. Appreciate your time as always, and happy holidays.
We would be happy to have you. Happy holidays.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Mike.